Brand Vision Summit 2022 brings together on a single platform the most ingenuous and inspiring leaders and companies that are creating philosophies to revolutionize industries. The creme de la creme across industries were awarded for their stellar visions in today's world at the 6th Brand Vision Summit. As a run-up to the award, a session was held featuring a series of discussions of the change makers that have emerged victorious in today's trying times.
The first discussion is with ACE educationist Dr. P. Shyam Raju, Chancellor, Reva University.
So the important point is that any child's future should not be impacted, and this was a very tough, unprecedented time. Nobody expected, nobody saw how things would happen. What happened for the other students? How were you able to help them cope up? And especially now, how is the university running? Are you running full scale? Are you running hybrid? How are things going now?
We went ahead online, definitely. The things how it was going on, we wanted to cope up with that. And we have a system in place. We have a studio from where I have had more than 200, 300 interactions from the studio, not only for the students, even their parents.
Yes.
Apart from that, my intention is, some of the parents, they might have sold their properties might have invested on their kids, and some of them might have borrowed a lot of money by paying interest and invested on their kids. Particularly on the final semester students, they will be dreaming that yes, their kids are supposed to join in somewhere or with their business, and they will going to earn in a couple of months. That their dream should come true. That is what we did.
The way ahead, how do you envision it? Maybe, I'm not talking really long, maybe this year, 2022.
See, this blended learning we are talking this from many years.
Yes.
Because online, offline, digital, all these things we are talking. The world is a digital world. That is the reason we started digitalized in 2016 itself. So now, some of the things where we can't have offline, for example, expert lecture or particular topic, we cannot bring them from US or UK somewhere, in Australia, like that. Definitely at that time it will happen online,
Yes.
like that. We prefer 40% online, 60% offline, maybe if required, vice versa.
Right.
As per the situation.
That's the important point. So I think what you said, as per the situation, as an institution and everybody else also watching outside, need to know that we've got to be able to mold ourselves with the situation. Absolute pleasure talking to you, Dr. Raju. Thank you so much, and all our best wishes for the way ahead.
Moving on to the next speaker, a veteran oncologist, Dr. Suraj Pawar, cancer and robotic surgeon, Chairman and MD, Kolhapur Cancer Center.
We're talking today about decoding leadership in the new normal in the health sector. But what has been your leadership mantra over this period since inception of Kolhapur Cancer Center?
I was not trained. I was trained as a cancer surgeon. I was not trained to how to set up a hospital. I think we need to have a relook and input that as a part of the curriculum in the medical colleges as well. We just jumped into it because there was a burning desire. There was a passion that I want to do it for this section of the society, and the whole mantra was to give back to the society. And with that, we just jumped into it. And then things, of course, we had to face lots of hurdles. No banks were willing to give loans in the initial stages. Somehow we managed, and step by step, slowly. But the most important part here was to create the team and to get the best of the best people in a tier 3 city like Kolhapur was a very difficult thing.
Yes.
But what we did was we got the best of the technology. We got the best of the radiation therapy machine. The second linear accelerator machine is the first one in India, Mosaic technology. We got the robotic setup. We got the bone marrow transplant. And with this kind of very high-end setup, then it became easy for us to get the top brains from big cities to work with us because they were also excited in working with a team which was no different than the best of the centers in the metropolitan cities.
It's great to see the effort that you and your full team are putting in this. Dr. Pawar, it's an absolute pleasure to talk to you. Thank you so much.
Next in line, we have a panel discussion on the topic, Technology as an Enabler, Learning of the COVID Era.
Allow me to first up introduce my panelists. We have Mr. Faisal Siddiqui. He's the AVP Strategy and Operations at American Oncology Institute. We have Mr. Jinand Shah, MD at Online PSB Loans. And we have Mr. Stefano Botene, the Director Sales and Marketing at BSA India. Let's talk about the technology that has enabled an institute like yours at the American Oncology Institute. How has digitalization changed the way you are running your business?
I'll answer it in two parts. The first thing is that the upside that we saw in the healthcare industry was it brought about a paradigm shift, and to the extent that it really jump-started a lot of the organizations into speeding up their investments and the development of digital healthcare. So that itself was a big step forward for the industry as a whole. And for organization like ours, we were no different. So we also went up where we have made sure that the access to care hasn't been compromised, and we continued our services throughout the pandemic. And as a healthcare service provider, the onus is that much more for us to make sure that we are there and not just looking at the the digital aspect of it. So while there is the upside that one of the recent surveys that said that the number of online consultations has jumped up from what it was pre-pandemic, from 30% to almost 80%. So that's an indication of how things went. What I see going forward is that there will be something called the the brick model. So it's here to stay, and we have to all move forward on it.
Well, that's a nice way of calling it. I like this way of how you've said, rather than just saying hybrid. So you're saying click and brick as brick and mortar, what we used to go with offline way. Mr. Botene, coming back to you, let's talk about the R&D. I'm very interested to know, like you mentioned, I think 4% is what is being committed to R&D.
Correct.
So, of course, clearly R&D is really important to the business.
Since our inception in India, the purpose has always been to try to develop a product that meet the requirements of the local market. And this is possible only if there is behind this activity an important research and development made by a capable technical department with a local efforts, first of all to understand the market, and then after having understood the market, elaborating projects that are meeting the customer requests. Just to tell you about the COVID period, only during the COVID period we have validated 3 machines, 3 new prototypes, and this has actually been possible only thanks to the utilization of some important platform which enables a connection from our technical department to the Italian technical department. And we have developed this machine with the purpose of serving our local customers. We have always tried in this ecosystem to develop some advanced technologies product, because it is our belief that only if the market is growing in terms also of technological understanding, we will be able to have a success in this market.
Yes, absolutely, because that's, I think, what helps improve efficiencies, provide better products to customers.
Absolutely, better product that then need to be served with an efficient spare parts and service department.
Yes.
And also in this regard, during the COVID time, we have done a lot.
Okay, great. Mr. Shah, what you really touched upon the point about how MSMEs getting loans is a big pain point. But by using a platform like yours, they're open to getting access to multiple banks. How was it earlier? I mean, if you talk about your company before the pandemic, or the sector as such, what was it before the pandemic? How has it been during the pandemic? How do you think things will evolve in the next 1-2 years maybe?
Before the pandemic, the 59-minute portal was launched by the Prime Minister, right? So we were expecting a lot of people applying in it, and we saw a lot of people applying in it. The biggest challenge for us to ensure was that the application will give a sanction. Disbursement is equally important, right?
Yeah.
So how much time does a branch take to disburse after getting an online sanction or after getting an online approval? So we are watching that very closely. And in fact, the branches were still having skepticism, saying that, okay, it has come digitally, I still have to verify the entire details again. So they took some time, they took some days, and then say 3 months down the line, 6 months down the line, we saw that the disbursement turnaround time, which used to be earlier before this 59-minute portal, it used to be 90 to 120 days. The branches still were taking 25-30 days to disburse.
The next discussion lined up is the importance of biostimulants. And to throw light on this, we have the veteran from the industry himself, Mr. Roy Choudhuary, Chairman and Managing Director of Biostat India Limited and President of IMC Chamber of Commerce and Industry.
Take me through the journey of Biostat. What's that been like? How did it start?
We established the company in 2002-2003 as a small entity. The whole company actually started with biostimulant.
Okay.
And that time biostimulants were not really a segment in the country. So we established this segment in 2001-2002, and over the years, last 20 years, as a company we have diversified into crop protection chemicals, aquaculture products, hybrid seeds, custom manufacturing. We have a subsidiary, wholly owned subsidiary in the Philippines, and a joint venture in Vietnam for aquaculture. So it's a very diversified company, but having started from biostimulants, and that remains our major segment, which contributes about 15-20% of our overall revenues.
Superb. So then, if we can start, let's talk a little bit about biostimulants. So what exactly are biostimulants for the benefit of our audience?
See, they are if I were to compare biostimulants with, say, healthcare, we all take vitamins.
Yeah.
So these are like vitamins for the plants.
Okay.
They come in form of seaweeds, humic acid, amino acids. So all these are kind of biostimulants. They enhance the nutrition of the plant. The plant grows much better. It gives better abiotic stress. When the plant is under stress, it gives them the resistance. So these are fundamentally our biostimulants.
Thank you so much, Mr. Choudhuary, for your time and for telling us so much about the biostimulants, and we wish you all the very best for the way ahead.
Millions of Indians watch me because I put the hard facts first. Because my viewers know the difference between raising the voice and raising the bar. They choose factual news that speaks for the nation. I am the voice of a nation where facts alone triumph. On India front, I lead with the hard facts because the nation trusts facts first.
India Upfront, weeknights at 8 p.m. only on Times Now. For chai time charcha makers, for daily commuters, for high flyers, for 9 to 5 professionals, from metro stations to living rooms.
We present the facts and help India make a judgment. From stories that shake the nation to opinions that shape them. I delve deep into the biggest news of the day and uncover every fact, every source, and every statement through debate and discussion. Get a 360-degree perspective on every story and get a conclusive closure. Join me, Navika Kumar, on the News Hour at 9, only on Times Now.
What is on my agenda? Information, not unnecessary aggression. Persistence, not pandering. I keep my ears to the ground, eyes on issues that truly matter. Because getting the whole picture is my focus, not hostility. People, not propaganda, is my priority. No bluff, no bluster, no bias. Because your agenda is my single point agenda. Watch News Hour Agenda with me, Padmaja Joshi, weeknights at 10 p.m.
She asks tough questions like no other journalist.
अयोध्या और मथुरा की बातें हो रही थी तो गोरखपुर क्यों? सेफ सीट है इसीलिए.
She takes on the masters of Indian politics like no one else can because she speaks for you the way no one else can.
काशी विश्वनाथ की झांकी हो गई, अब मथुरा बाकी है, तो ये क्या गवर्नेंस की बातचीत है? क्योंकि चुनाव है उत्तर प्रदेश में, इसलिए आपने कृषि कानून
क्या चुनाव जीते तब नहीं गए थे जब कृषि कानून पास हो गया था? जीते गए थे, बंगाल में आप हार गए थे.
Because your voice must be heard, your questions answered above all else. Frankly speaking, with Navika Kumar.
In which country would a murder accused not even be arrested for 4 days?
पात्रा, आप ऐसा करिए, अगर कोई इस देश में कोविड से ना मरे तो वो या तो जीएसटी से मर जाएगा या आपकी पेट्रोल प्राइस से तो मर ही जाएगा.
Someone over whom the taint of a pre-planned murder conspiracy hangs is the ideal person. I think the best judge, people you will go seeking a mandate from.
For decision makers, for the opinionated, for the unsure, for dinner time debaters, from metro stations to living rooms.
We present the facts and help India make a judgment. From stories that shape the nation to opinions that shape them. I delve deep into the biggest news of the day and uncover every fact, every source and every statement through debate and discussion. Get a 360-degree perspective on every story.
Brand Vision Summit 2022 saw the most stellar brands and industry leaders felicitated for their exemplary work. The evening continued with speakers and their insights on the dynamic world of today and best business practices.
Such a pleasure to be with all of you, and of course, after the pandemic, the way it's hit, just to be able to congregate like this together is such a joy itself, isn't it? Otherwise, for the first time in the history of the world, we were told, stay away from positive people. One of my friends said to me that in the last 1.5, 2 odd years, my hands have ended up consuming more alcohol than my liver did in my entire lifetime. The usage of so much sanitizer has been poured on our heads and our hands and our bodies. Good Lord, thank God that finally we are here. Finally I can take my mask off. I'm waiting for something like the UK where it's officially off. Definitely a great pleasure being with all of you. In a fast changing world, especially the kind of a world today, you are the guys who are the change makers, who took the initiative to keep up with time, not just be people who took shelter of knowledge, but personalities and individuals who took shelter of wisdom to rethink, to unlearn, to see what could be done to adapt to the new world that we are in, because that's what really keeps us going in progressive growth, exponential growth. I congratulate all of you for being the recipients of these incredible honors and awards, the change makers from NexBrands and Brand Vision, whom I want to thank for having invited me here and honored me as well. And you're all receiving this award because you were all in the game of adapting to that change, especially in the post-pandemic era. So I congratulate all of you once again and wishing you all the best to constantly live by this one important principle of adapting to change.
A warm thanks to Chandrika and her entire team for ensuring that I got a chance to be present at this wonderful audience which is around me. I was asked to talk about the changes or the change makers in the healthcare. Basically, when you talk about healthcare, you're talking about changes. Without innovation, there's no healthcare. And without innovation, I think people do not survive too. I think the last 2 years have taught people a lot of lessons. They have taught people that innovation is the key. They have taught people that with innovation, lives could be saved. So I think change is something which is going to happen, not just today, it will continue happening for a lifetime. I represent Murali Krishna Pharma, and we are a small company based near Pune. It's a place called Ranjangaon, which is 70 kilometers from Pune. Our plant is European Union approved, and our R&D is approved by Department of Science and Technology. So we are basically an innovative company trying to make money. So R&D does not necessarily mean you make money, but yes, we are trying to make money in this field. One of the biggest innovations or biggest changes that we are bringing into the marketplace, an intervention for anemia. Everybody is aware that the Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi ji, has come up with a 6x6x6 program of Anemia Mukt Bharat. We are in fact very proud to state today we are a part of a project for which we have already applied, and we hope to receive the clearance from EODBs of doing business from the Government of India. If this happens, one of the largest scale commercial trial projects will take place on 9 lakh women pan-India. This is going to be one of the largest commercial trials that are going to ever happen.
So when we talk about a company being successful, we talk about a philosophy that the company embodies. In Ajay's case, his philosophy rests on 4 strong pillars. First is the culture that he has created at Darwin, a culture of cohesiveness, inclusiveness, inward feeling, setting family values, having the family rally behind him and the business. But when we talk about culture, it is co-creation of culture which becomes immensely important. Culture is not one man's tryst with destiny, and that's how he nurtured talent for the last 10 years, and he created a great band of young leaders to help him in his mission. The third pillar is what I call the smell of the forest. It's like when you were young, during the mango season, when you walked with your parents to your village, 1 kilometer away from the mango plantation, if you find leaves fallen on the roads, you pick up, you smell the forest. And that's what Ajay has done to create a unique feeling of oneness in his organization. And the fourth pillar, or the final pillar, is the business which he does with deep authenticity. And I think with truth, transparency, oneness, he has created a beautiful organization. We're all part of the family. We have young people like Vijay, incidentally is not there, Dr. Balwant, Dr. Gaurav, Sandeep, Mr. Fahim Sheikh, young people who have immensely worked for the last so many months during the pandemic, stood behind him and made this organization. I think it's an organization which has very strong ethos of family values and culture, and that what makes Darwin so special here.
Our vision is to provide value for human ecosystem. That is what we do, connecting talent with global opportunities. And in fact, in this time of pandemic, when companies were laying off, we have actually helped thousands of candidates get their dream jobs. We help our clients to be ahead of the game in this talent war. We won a lot of milestones we've achieved. We were ranked #1 in the top 5 hottest HR tech startups utilizing artificial intelligence. We were ranked #1 HR tech startup which is upping the game. I've appeared on cover of several magazines. I was felicitated with the most admired global Indian by Passion Vista. I was the CEO of the year 2021 by the CEO Story. The list is endless, and I would say that I firmly believe that we have miles to go before we sleep. I was also asked to give my message to women entrepreneurs on this platform. So I believe that ladies, we all have it in us. And I would like to just conclude by one quote by a very ancient Persian poet. It's your road and yours alone. Others may walk it with you, but no one can walk it for you. Thank you so much.
It gives me immense pleasure to receive the Extraordinaire 2022 Award in Architecture and Urban Planning. Our planet is facing tough challenges on account of the phenomenon of climate change. It's high time that the construction industry woke up to this reality and made the much needed course correction. In this context, it is important to talk about what I refer to as responsible architecture, the architecture that respects nature. As a practitioner of this design philosophy, I have tried to incorporate this principle in the projects that I worked on in the past. It is important for us to remember that each small step that we take today can impact our planet greatly. The greatest gift that we can give our future generations is a safe and healthy planet that they can continue to live on. I also take this opportunity to congratulate all the other winners. Thank you.
At the outset, I'm delighted to express my gratitude to NexBrands for this laurel and equally humbled to be part of such eminent personalities of this country. BLS International is a trusted global tech-enabled service provider for government and citizens worldwide. We have been serving government citizens since 2005 through a network of over 12,000 centers spread across 66 countries. At BLS, we take pride in our advanced tech solutions and drive the company to the next phase of evolution using best-in-class and cutting-edge technology. With the strong foundation and the experience we have built over the years, we intend to touch 1 billion lives globally. I once again like to thank NexBrands for this wonderful opportunity.